Welcome back. After some heated debate this week, Florida's legislature passed a new bill. It allows teachers to bring loaded guns into their classrooms. Now, this follows last year's decision to enact the Guardian program. It permits school districts to arm staff after they undergo screening and training by a local sheriff's office. Classroom teachers were exempt from that program until now. This new bill removes that exemption. It's expected to be signed into law by Republican Governor Ron DeSantis. School districts do have to opt into the Guardian program for teachers to be armed. Now, so far, only 25 of the state's 67 school districts will participate, but that's still a lot. And joining me now to talk about this is Florida State Representative Shevrin Jones. He unsuccessfully tried to pass an amendment to that bill, which would require faculty and staff to undergo implicit bias training if they decide to carry firearms. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us. Walk us through
Thank you for having me.
Your amendment. Why do you feel so much that it's needed?
Well, I believe it was important for me to file the amendment when it came to implicit bias training, because it's true that we all have some type of bias when it comes to anyone. And so I felt that it was important that if we're going to put guns inside the classrooms of teachers, that those teachers should go through some type of implicit bias training, just not diversity training. Diversity training is one thing, but implicit bias training is a totally different type of training. Harvard University has the implicit project in which any individual can go online and take this assessment. And even me, myself, there is a bias that I have, and I thought that it would be very important that teachers, if this is the direction that we're moving in, that they too should take this type of training, so they understand that there is an inconsistency of how we are treating our black and brown students in terms of their white counterparts.
So I want to give you a chance to rebut some of your opponents to the amendment. They argued that it made an assumption that the teachers are racist, and it elicited an emotional reaction from you. What was your reaction? Explain it to us.
Well, my reaction was because there's a reality in my district, and there's a reality in a lot of the districts of my colleagues within my caucus that we go home to. And I got angry because I didn't put forth that amendment to be implied that I was calling teachers a racist. I wanted to bring individuals into my neighborhood, into others' neighborhood, to know that a student who walk into a classroom who might have dreads in their hair, and a teacher might look at that individual and be intimidated by him or her, that doesn't mean that that individual is a problem child. And so therefore it was simple. Putting forth implicit bias training is not a partisan issue. As a matter of fact, we had Republicans who voted for the amendment, 9 of them. And so when we're talking about the lives of our children, when we're talking about the safety of our children, it should have never been a partisan issue. And it was totally disheartening to see that my Republican colleagues took this as a party line issue, when in actuality it should have been a humanity issue. It should have been a safety issue for our children.
Really interesting debate. Several school districts actually use law enforcement personnel, which is more costly. Are there any alternative plans on the table that you know of?
That I know of, there are no alternative plans on the table. But I will say this, that when we are looking at school safety, putting guns in the hands of teachers, teachers did not sign up for that. Teachers signed up to teach children. They did not sign up to be police officers. I believe that it is important that our school districts work along with our sheriff's offices to look at resource officers within our schools. I believe that we should ensure that we give dollars to our school districts, not do what Florida did last year, where we tied the dollars to whether or not a school district actually bought into the Guardian program. If you're serious about school safety, be serious about school safety and do what needs to be done to make sure all of our schools, all of our students, all of our teachers are safe.
Really emotional and divisive issue. Florida State Representative Shevrin Jones, thank you for taking the time to be with us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.